Yeah. And, we have a person at 1-800-NEW-LIFE that can tell you how to start a group. But it's pretty simple. To have a group, you just need one other person
Right.
and a book. And you say, hey, let's just go through this book together and then see what that becomes. And then maybe, you find another guy that's struggling. You tell the pastor, hey, we got this group. Anybody wants to join, send them our way, that kind of thing. It works great when you are willing to do that.
Yeah. Another area I know that it seems to me anyway that men struggle with is teaching their sons specifically about sexual integrity. I have a 5-year-old boy, so I'm not quite there yet, but having the talk with your boy, a lot of men are uncomfortable with that and struggle with doing that. From what it seems to me anyway. Do you have any thoughts on how to make that easier?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I wish I had thought of this and developed it, but there is a book that we went over with both our kids when they were the age of your son. And it's a really great book. It's called Good Pictures, Bad Pictures. It's real simple, and it's for their age. And essentially it's saying, that if you see a picture and something is showing in that picture that isn't covered up by a swimsuit, then that's pornography. And you should look away and tell somebody that you saw it or somebody showed it to you.
Yeah.
So that's a really great place at that. And you the earlier the better, but you really should check out Good Pictures, Bad Pictures. It's a great tool. Then, of course, we have when a child is, and we have both for girls and boys, preparing your son for every young man's battle, right, and preparing your daughter. But, that's around age, now, depending on the maturity and wherever, but 8 to 10. And then beyond that, you've got every young man's battle and every young woman's battle. But we've got tools. But I'll tell you what my church did. They created a kit. And in this kit, they have just different stuff. Like there's a glove that you blow up the glove and, put it on your head and do stupid things with it. And then there's a game that you play and you have to do stupid things. And so you take your son out and you spend the night somewhere. And like we went to a cabin and did this. And there's also in the kit, there's a can of chili. And so, you got food to cook and you got these games to play. And then there's a little discussion guide that you get to on sexual integrity and sexual purity.
Sure.
It's just a wonderful tool to, create that event that he'll never, ever forget. And we've got some great pictures from that. But, the main thing is if you start to talk early about this to your child, then there's nothing you can't talk to them about. So the sooner you get started and you start by showing a child how to honor a woman and the value of a woman by the way that you treat that child's mother. That's the real key.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good idea. Really good advice right there. I know that, of course, then if we're going to teach our children or teach our church, like you said, we kind of have to have at least started dealing with those issues on our own. So practically, how can we as men, we get started visually and then we kind of let our minds run and take over after that. But what are some practical safeguards maybe or steps we can take to start dealing with it ourselves?
Well, I think it'd be a really good idea if you're watching this to say to yourself, let's see, how's it going so far? Every time I've tried to no longer have this as a problem, every time I've tried to stop on my own, it's always come back. So the first thing is to admit, I can't do this on my own. I have to reach out to somebody. So you could talk to your pastor, or you could call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. But you really do. The first big step to getting things better is to say to yourself, I have an extreme limitation here. I'm not able to fix this on my own. I'm powerless in and of myself, but I'm not helpless. It's not hopeless, but all that help and hope comes when I'm finally able to open up. James 5:16 is so clear. Confess your sins one to another and pray for each other that you might be healed. So coming out of the silence is one of the biggest things that reduces the shame and begins the process. Now, you can continue to try really hard on your own. I don't know of any way that works.
Right.
And I know it sounds stupid, but I've found that trying harder makes trying harder. So you tried hard, forget it. Get some help, and then you have the potential that you're going to have victory in this area, and you'll be so glad you did.
Sure. And you do talk about in Every Man's Battle about how purity, sexual integrity can kind of become a habit, right? Like
it does. Yeah. It's a friend of mine. We were at an airport, and out of the corner of his eye, he saw this beautiful woman. One moving sidewalk was coming this way, and ours going that way. And he just started saying to himself, "Not mine, not mine, not mine," looking the other way. And you just do stuff like that. You just, in old movies, if a woman's skirt blew up, you as a gentleman, you just look the other way. We call it bouncing your eyes. It just becomes what you do in honor of another person, the person you're married to, and the person that, is having an embarrassing moment or whatever.
Yeah.
So, it becomes as big a habit as looking at stuff becomes a habit.
Sure. And I know you use the phrase also, or from the verse, "You're bought with a price, you're not your own," about I don't have the authority to do what I'm doing right now, as far as looking, where I'm looking or thinking what I'm thinking. And that's really good.
Well, and there's a little parable that Jesus tells in Matthew 13 about this merchant searched for a valuable jewel and found this pearl and went and sold everything he had to be sure he possessed that pearl. And, most people read that and they think, we ought to be willing to give up everything to possess the pearl of great price, which is Jesus. But, another way, and Jesus doesn't interpret the story, but one way to interpret it also is that, Jesus is the merchant and you are the pearl of great price. And he gives up everything to buy you back from sin and Satan, leaves all the comfort of heaven. He is the one that has paid the ultimate price because of the value of your life. So value your life, purify your life, and then value the life of other people and don't abuse them. And when you look at pornography, it's probably your most direct link to sex trafficking. 87% of women in the sex trade would do something else if they could support themselves. She's not happy. She's not just in this because she's making a good living. She's trapped, and many people get in it through sex trafficking. So, when you honor God, you honor women, and honor yourself, everybody wins. When you continue to be the little boy looking at dirty pictures, everybody loses.
That's the truth. Well, Steve, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Where can people go to find out more about your work? I know you mentioned your website.
Yeah, newlife.com, or you can call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and find out about the workshop. You can order the book there. And then, of course, we have our radio program is on at 1 p.m. On Sirius XM, channel 131, at 1 p.m. Or you can download the app, and we're also at 1 p.m. Eastern Time at newlife.com. You can get the radio program there.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for taking some time to talk to us today. Really
enjoyed it. God bless you, and God bless everybody. And just do the next right thing, and that'll lead you down the path to purity.
Guys, I know this fight is a daily battle for you, just like it is for me. And it's something that as Christian men, we need to fight every day, but we need to work hard to overcome as much as we can our flesh and the issues that come with that. Of course, Every Man's Battle is a great resource, and I will link that in the notes for the show. But there are other books and other places that you can go There's other accountability software type things you can use. And of course, having someone that you are accountable to is one of the most important things. Of course, you want to have, as the basis of all of it, a good relationship with God, that you are in the right place, not just trying to fight a temptation, but you are working to be closer to your God and closer to your wife and all these other things that will help in this area. So I hope his wisdom and his years of experience counseling were a blessing to you, and that you can take something here from this and to grow in this area, just like I'm hoping to as well from taking the time to talk to Steve here today. So once again, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for listening and finding us on social media. I'm not on there a ton, but we appreciate it anyway. And if you could also, again, go by, check out clean5110.com and use the code Shepherd. You can get 10% off of any purchase there. And we'll see you next week.